everybody. So we're going to do genetics handout 1. This is still monohybrid crosses. We're going to start by looking at rose apples. And that's what's in these pictures here. These are rose apple flowers. Okay, so rose apple is controlled by a single gene. We're going to use capital R as the allele that produces red flowers and little r as the allele that produces white flowers. Flowers that are heterozygous have red flowers. Write all possible genotypes and phenotypes for this trait. So we know that we're using R capitalized for red and little r for white. And we know that red is dominant to white. So what are all of the possible genotypes that can be made for this? So for our genotypes, remember that we get one gene from mom and one gene from dad. So there's 2 letters. So we have to see what combinations we can make. So for our genotypes, we have homozygous dominant, heterozygous, and homozygous recessive. Now for phenotypes, remember that our phenotypes are the physical trait or what we can test for. So our phenotypes, those are going to be red and white. Okay, now this is going to give me red, that gives me red, and that gives me white. All of this information was given in this information above. Okay. What is the genotype and phenotype for the parents if I cross 2 heterozygous flowers? Okay, so genotype, remember, geno means the genes or the letters, and hetero means different. So that means that they have different letters. Okay, so these are 2 flowers, both heterozygous. Now, what is the phenotype for these? Well, remember that this one is dominant and takes control. That one hides. So this is red crossed with red. Now I can use any letter. They just happen to choose R. So in the cross of those 2 heterozygous, what is the genotypic and phenotypic ratio of the offspring? Well, that means we need to do the cross. So if I have these individuals and I want to make a cross with them, first thing I have to do is figure out what the gametes are. I have 2 letters here. That means gametes get 1 letter, and they can get a capital R or a lowercase r. Here we can get a capital or a lowercase. Now I bring all my information back together. So there's my cross. So now my genotypic ratios and my phenotypic ratio. My genotypic ratio, well, I know I had these, or these. And if I look here, 1 box is like this, 2 boxes like that, 1 box like that. Now for my phenotypic ratio, that's the physical characteristics. So that was either red or white. Well, I know that this one's going to be red, this one's going to be red, this one's going to be red. So that's 3 red and 1 white. Now I can also express these as fractions. Okay, so this would be 1/4, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4, 1/4. Or I could express these as percentages. 25%, 50%, 25%. This would be 75% or 25%. Now, if 200 seeds were produced from that cross, how many of each genotype should there be? So let's sketch that cross again really quickly. If I have 200 seeds, I would expect them to be spread evenly among these 4 boxes. So 200 divided by 4. That means that each of these boxes should have 50 seeds. And if I had the 3 different genotypes and 50 seeds for each box, that means I would have had 50 here. I have 2 boxes like that, so there'd be 100 seeds there and 50 seeds there. How many of each phenotype should there be? Now my 2 phenotypes were red and white. And I had 200 seeds, so we would put 50 in each. Okay, and remember that this one, and this one are all red. So 50, 100, 150. And the last box had 50 seeds that would be white. Okay, what fraction of the red flowered rose apples would be homozygous? So let's look at our box one more time. So it says what fraction of the red flowered would be homozygous. So I only care about my red flowers. Well, these ones are white, so I don't care about those. It's a fraction, so I know it's going to be out of 1, 2, 3 boxes. And how many are homozygous? Now the prefix homo means same, so they have the same 2 letters. These are 2 capitals that are the same, so it's 1/3. 1/3 of them are going to be homozygous. In a cross between a red rose apple and a white rose apple, there were 201 seeds produced. When these were planted, 105 of the new seeds grew to be red, and 96 grew to be white. So what do I know about the genotypes of the parents? Okay, so it said that I crossed red and white. So I had a red and a white. Well, to be red, I know I have to have at least one dominant allele. But I'm not sure what's here. It could be another dominant or it could be a recessive. But it says the other parent is white. That means it has to be 2 little ones because the only way I could get white is to be 2 recessive. So I know this parent. I just don't know this one. But I know that when I had offspring, I had red and I also had white. Okay, so I know that the white offspring, one of these little R's had to come from mom, but then the other one had to come from dad. But I don't see one written here yet. That means this has to be this. So if these offspring got the big R from this parent, then the other letter they must have is a little r. So what are the genotypes of the parents? I have these 2 genotypes, and I know that these are correct because in order for the offspring to show the recessive trait, then the one parent had to be heterozygous. Otherwise, we would never get these recessives, 2 recessives together. All right, we'll do more in the next video.